Hey, it is April 7th, and had a lot of really interesting things go on this week. That is, of course, Streets of London, and in case some of you haven't gotten the message, the student uploader is working, and we've had a couple of uploads and a couple of reviews, and the latest one was Steve playing Streets of London. The main advice, oh boy, this is going to turn, I guess I'm going to start with one of the tips. I might get to like 3 or 4 tips today because there's a lot running through my head and I'm thinking, oh, I could save that for next week. I could save that for, anyway. Turned out Steve did a great job of picking through the melody kind of to Streets of London. And I had a few other students working on some songs this week that were, one was Song for Adam. It's a G in the bass, huh? Forget. And for example, he was having a little trouble. This is related to the same, all the advice I gave Steve. So if you have access to the student reviews, which I think everybody from Silver Up can watch student reviews, but I think you have to be Gold or Up to submit them. Yeah, I should know this. I should look into this before I start talking about it. I'll clear that up later, maybe. Somebody, Bill, was having trouble getting to this pull-off on an F chord. This is a wraparound with the thumb playing the F in the bass and a little F chord, starting with a pull-off on the third string from A to G. And it was coming from an A minor chord. And what was happening was the notes were coming out a little bit dead. And it was really because he was putting down all the notes of the chord right away. And in fingerpicking, many times, almost all the time, you need to use a different approach. You want to put your fingers down in the order that you're going to play them. So right there, when I need to do that pull-off from the A to the G, with my thumb playing the F and the bass, I actually don't need any other notes on. Oh, so the C is on because I'm coming from an A minor. So I've got the C on the first fret. But then when I go to that F, what I don't want to do is put the second bass note on before I do the pull-off, because there's a good chance that that bass note, especially if I slap it all down together, it's going to kill that third string. So my advice here was, you're coming from the A minor, just go get the F in the bass and keep your third finger out of the way till now, until you need it. And that was a similar thing to the advice that Steve got in the student review. So, okay, that's it for today's first tip. I have all kinds of other exciting stuff I want to talk about. One is, when you retune your guitar to some bizarre tuning, like I was in pretty good tune there for a second, and I just had to. I wanted to go into a tuning. If you saw some of the stuff that happened this week, some unusual. I had a really cool tune, and right there, I had to tune the fifth string. This is true if you go into like drop D or double drop D or open G or anything else. It's not worth your time to, for example, tune the sixth string down to D, get it exactly right, and then start playing. Just like putting a capo on, whenever you change the tension of the neck on the neck of the guitar, you got to check everything. And so now I just tuned my fifth string down to F sharp. It's still a little sharp. Now I got it exactly right. Almost, still a little flat. But now I have to check the rest of the strings. Let me see what happened. I'm gonna guess that the other strings have gone a little sharp, and they have. So when you lower the tension of one string, that increases the tension on the other strings. Hope I said that right. And so they all might have to come down a hair. Yep, they're all just like a tang sharp. Okay, so again, what I did was I just got my altered string kind of close and then retuned them all to fine tune them. So, and now I'm in good shape to do, except I don't want to hit that note yet. So that was my big project. I started messing with that a month or so ago, maybe 2, and finally got it finished. That is, of course, Albatross, this beautiful tune of Peter Green's. And it was really fun to try to put this together once it dawned on me that here's the secret. Get an F sharp on the 5th string. And that opened up little things like, this is not a big deal. But while I get this, while this high part continues, I need the same notes but with an F sharp in the bass. And if I hadn't had the open F sharp string, I would have had to play it an octave higher. Would have lost the complete mood. And back to E in the bass. And then, of course, we had the harmonic part. This song had 3 or 4 techniques in it that are all, that might be new to a lot of people. One is just keeping a rolling bass, keeping John and Mick's part kind of going, the drums and the bass, while playing a little bit of a melody. So that's, you know, I've got other lessons on stuff like Green River and Smokestack Lightning that do stuff like that. But keeping that going is one thing. Sliding into notes, because of course in the original Fleetwood Mac version of this, they bend 2 electric guitars to those notes. Not happening on my acoustic guitar, unless we had strings that are a whole lot lighter than I would ever put on a guitar. Anyway, so that was one particular technique that was odd. The next was I had to do this next part in harmonics. Artificial harmonics. So in the lesson I talk about some of the technique for doing that. And then I think in the lesson I mentioned this too, because when we get to this melody, there's a spot here that was all parallel motion in fourths, but the next little lick is contrary motion. One line goes down and one goes up. This is the first time in any song after like 100 years of playing guitar that I've ever thought about doing a hammer-on and a pull-off at the same time. And that's what you got to do in this song. Now it wouldn't sound bad if you hit each one, but it doesn't have the same flow. So anyway, okay, that was my excitement for the last month, was solving these puzzles in Albatross and piecing it all together. So I hope you've had a chance to check that out, and hope you enjoy playing it. I would love it if we got some uploads of people working on that, because I have no idea how easy or hard that might have been. Same technique. Get close, fine-tune that puppy. Let's see what we got now. Now everything is probably flat. Not bad there, little flat there. So again, because I increase the tension on one string, that lowers the tension on some of the rest, and they all have to come up again a little bit. But with the assistance of super snark here, uncompensated plug. Anyway, that's what we got going on there. So let's see. I have 2 more things I want to tell you about. Which one am I going to do first? Well, I'm going back into the techniques. Let's see. We had the technique of finger picking. Move your fingers in the order you need them when you're finger picking stuff. Oh, and a great song to work on for that is House of the Rising Sun, or Is There Anybody Out There? Thumbnail's too long. Both House of the Rising Sun and Is There Anybody Out There have your left hand moving not all at once, one finger at a time, particularly in House of the Rising Sun on the D chord and the F chord. So, the other cool technique was another student was having trouble. There were each finger had to do something from one chord change to another, and it was basically hold one down and move the other 2. It was in the same song. It was in Song for Adam. It was taking off like putting one finger down, moving two fingers to a C chord, and leaving one from an F, and leaving the first finger down. The difficulty was which finger does what. And I learned this from John Renborn from the first workshop he did for us back in 1998. And it was a great exercise, and I'm pretty rusty at this, so I'm probably not going to be able to do it very well. But the secret is, I hate to call it a secret, but the technique, the thought process is a better approach, is if you have to move a couple fingers and maybe leave a couple fingers down, if you're trying to think of what each finger does, it's 4 little separate threads that your brain is trying to send out to your fingers. And you're also trying to like send other threads to these fingers. So if you can already split your brain into what the left hand does and hopefully the right hand is a little more automatic, the left hand, when you have notes that do different things, you really just concentrate on the fingers that don't move, lock them down a little harder than usual, and then think about moving the rest of your hand. And so the exercise that John had for this was great, was to put, I'm at the 5th fret, I'm putting my 1st and 3rd fingers on the 6th string, both of them on the same string, at the 5th and 7th frets. Then I'm putting my 2nd and 4th fingers on the frets in between, the 6th fret and the 8th fret on the 5th string. You with me? I got 2 fingers on the 6th string and 2 fingers on the 5th, each one at a separate fret. And now the challenge here is to move your fingers 2 at a time. In this case, first moving your 1st and 3rd fingers from where they are to the 4th string. You probably can't see this because I'm not zoomed in very well, and what I did there was I focused on these 2 fingers, my 2nd and 4th fingers, on pushing them down really hard and then moving the rest. Not, oh, the first one moves, the second one doesn't, the 3rd one moves, and the 4th one doesn't. So with your hand laid out like that, push down with the 2nd and 4th and move the rest. Now push down with the 1st and 3rd and move your 2nd and 4th. Then push down with your 2nd and 4th and move your 1st and 3rd. Then lock down with the 1st and 3rd and move your 2nd and 4th. I think that worked. Anyway, so good exercise for finger independence. Okay, the last thing, now I'm really excited about something else, as if I hadn't been about everything else we've been talking about. Some days I just play a lot. Some days I just talk a lot. This is going to be a lot of talking. I'll try to play something on the way out. That B was a little sharp, huh? I've been going through like a lot of our old stuff, and many of you old timers probably remember that we had sister sites: Totally Electric guitars, Totally vocals, Totally keyboards. Some of that stuff has been rolled into our rebuild from 3 years ago. Man, yes, it was 2020, May of 2020. We launched Totally Guitars 2.0, which really became Totally Lessons, and then all those other things were sort of under it. And we have a ton of cool stuff that has not really been too easily accessible, but I've now been putting some time into sorting things and putting things together, and my good friend and longtime colleague Jim Bruno just put some fabulous lessons together on vocal stuff. And we, as I was going through it, I thought, you know what, we're gonna get this stuff so that people that are at Totally Lessons can have access to it. And so what we're starting with is a couple of vocal packs, 5-pack of Jim's lesson. Yeah, 5-pack of lessons. Lesson, is it singular or plural? Who cares? There are 5 lessons in this pack of songs by the Beatles. Stuff like Yesterday and In My Life, Blackbird, but they're all on how to sing those songs instead of what I do, which is how to play those songs. I don't make a habit of singing this song though. One part just gets way too high. But Jim's lesson on it would be a great complement to my lesson on how to play it. What else is in there? Girl and which one am I missing? I forget. Anyway, and then and we also have a 5-pack of Everly Brothers tunes. So taking singing to another level, harmony, 2 parts, only one set of 2 parts. And that's got songs in it like All I Have to Do Is Dream, Kathy's Clown, Wake Up Little Susie, Bye Bye Love. Oh, that was 4 of them. Which one am I missing? I forget now too. Oh well, at least I rattled off 4, I think, out of each pack. So keep an eye out for more of that kind of stuff. So I know that a lot of people out there really, aside from playing the guitar, want to be singing and things. So I am kind of going through the archives through our vocal lessons and our keyboard lessons. We have made most of the electric guitar lessons available, so that's already sort of been rolled in. But again, I'm trying to kick off some mothballs and inject some other tunes into the universe for everybody here to enjoy. Okay, let's see. What should I play? I should play something I know. There's a mystery song for today. I'm sure some of you recognize it, but I don't have a lesson on that one, and I've really never worked on the whole thing. Beautiful, beautiful piece by Villalobos. So, let's see. Oh, here's something else I am working on. For those of you who have ever played Windy and Warm, why did I bring that up? For a couple of my students, they've asked about doing a duet with that, and so I'm putting together a lesson. I finished the construction of it, but not the execution of it, I guess, of a second part. Something like that. So I've been messing with some duets lately, including this one. I still haven't done a first lesson on. That's John Renborn's Snap a Little Owl. Okay, been talking long enough. Played a few tunes for you, gave you all the big news, and on with the rest of the weekend. Hope everybody has a great time and get some guitar playing in.